Hey, I'm Shirley. Medical school orientation starts tomorrow, so I thought now would be a good time to go over the goals that I have for these next 4 years and beyond. Of course, life is crazy, as this year has clearly shown, so I don't know how successful I'll be at any of these goals, but hopefully at the end of 4 years, I'll be able to look back and say that I've accomplished the following. Back in college, I mainly typed up notes and occasionally used flashcards to help me better understand and memorize the material. Lately, I've been looking into more efficient and effective study methods. For example, I've been learning how to use Anki, which is an open source flashcard program that's popular among medical students. My goal will be to not only do well as a student myself, but to also know the material well enough that I'll be able to explain it to other students if they're struggling. Outside of just doing well in the classroom, I hope to also engage in research. Bench work is not a possibility at this time because we can't meet in person. However, I hope to be able to help with data analysis and such. And then once in-person interactions are made available again, I hope to be able to help with other types of research as well. I want to do well in terms of learning not just what's taught in lectures, but also when it comes to clinical skills and learning how to apply my knowledge in a clinical setting. It's one thing to know the pathology of a disease and how to come up with a diagnosis given textbook signs and symptoms, but another thing entirely to do that when interacting with a patient who may present abnormally and who brings their own concerns regarding modern-day medicine to the table. I know this is something that will be covered more so in residency, but in essence, I hope to not only be able to regurgitate information, but also how to think critically in regards to medicine while still remaining compassionate and patient. The three main components of physical health that I want to focus on are nutrition, exercise, and sleep. In regards to nutrition, I am fortunate to have daily home-cooked meals, courtesy of my mama. As of now, all of my classes are fully online, so I can continue to live at home. Once I do move out, I plan to meal prep so that I'm not eating microwave dinners every night. Moving on to exercise. For the 5 months leading up to the MCAT, I did neglect exercise because I was also simultaneously working a full-time job as well as a part-time job and retaking classes. So from Monday to Friday, from 8 a.m. to about 9 or 10 p.m., I was either working or going to school, and then on the weekends I would be studying for the MCAT, so I honestly did not have the time or energy to exercise. However, with the exception of a few days or weeks here and there, I hope to never neglect exercise again. It's extremely important not just for my physical health, but also for my mental health and well-being, so I definitely will try to make it part of my routine. And of course, I want to be able to get sufficient sleep, meaning at least 7 hours most nights. I'm thinking it might be difficult when I'm first adjusting to medical school, as well as anytime I have finals coming up, but other than that, I hope to be able to manage my time well enough to get quality sleep on most nights. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon to experience burnout as a medical student and especially as a physician. Although I do think that the environment a person is in definitely plays a role, I think it's also important to recognize the responsibility that I have for my own mental well-being. To help deal with stress and to help prevent burnout, I plan to reach out to loved ones, volunteer my time and skills to help others in need, remember to take a break, reframe my perspective to one that's more centered around gratitude, and to take care of my physical health. Imposter syndrome occurs when someone feels like they're constantly inadequate. They think that they don't deserve their accomplishments, that their success is mainly a result of luck or other external factors, and that other people will soon realize that they did not earn the fruits of their labor. Thankfully, I haven't really experienced this much, but it has been rather daunting to read some of the accomplishments of my fellow classmates. On the one hand, I'm like, wow, how did I get in when this guy has done research at Stanford and this girl has started her own company? But then I remind myself that the only person I should be comparing myself to is myself. And then I'm like, wow, I am actually excited because I get to study with and be part of a class with so many accomplished individuals. Mindset really helps here, so I will be continuing to push myself to think about how I can improve as an individual rather than comparing myself to other people and their accomplishments. I've read some posts of medical students who regretted not keeping in contact with their friends, kind of like that one friend who gets a new boyfriend or girlfriend and subsequently disappears off the face of the earth. Well, while I hope to make new friends and get close with my class, I also hope to maintain the friendships and relationships that I have now going into medical school. Over the years, I've come to realize how many factors come into play when discussing health. It's not as simple as writing a prescription. It's considering whether a patient's insurance can cover the medication that they need, whether they have access to a nearby grocery store where they can purchase fresh fruits and vegetables, whether they live in an area with a lot of air pollution. There are so many factors that come into play when determining an individual's health. The COVID-19 pandemic and Black Lives Matter movement have really emphasized health disparities, especially among different populations. As part of our orientation, we will be having a presentation on unconscious bias. As an individual, I'll be looking for ways to challenge my own prejudices, as well as read and do my own research. Currently, I'm in the middle of watching the documentary 13th, and 2 of the books that I plan to read are How to Be Anti-Racist and The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down. If you have any other recommendations on resources that I should look into, please leave them in the comments down below. I've taken Spanish throughout middle school, high school, and college. I'm not fluent yet, but I hope to get there someday. I plan to participate in a program at my school that teaches students medical Spanish, as many of the patients that we'll encounter are Spanish speakers. Furthermore, given that Mandarin is the most commonly spoken language in the world, I have been teaching myself the language with the help of my parents as well as Duolingo. I think it's important to be able to communicate with patients despite differences in background, whether they be socioeconomic, cultural, etc. Of course, translators should be available if needed, but there's a greater sense of rapport between a physician and a patient when there doesn't need to be a third party involved, so by the time I graduate, I hope to be fluent in both Mandarin and Spanish. YouTube is great because it serves as a creative outlet that allows me to combine my love for photography, videography, writing, music, and helping others. I've already had a few individuals reach out to me and ask for specific advice or say that my videos have been really helpful, which makes me really happy because I know how grateful I was when I was able to find mentors that were willing to help me along my pre-med journey, so I'm honored to be able to give back in some way. Apparently, the YouTube algorithm favors content creators that upload on a consistent basis, so there is that incentive to upload weekly. This can be good because sometimes I need to remind myself to take a break from all the facts and the science and just to delve into that more creative side of my mind. However, school and life in general will always come first, so if I miss a week or 2, I'm not gonna sweat it. So far, YouTube has been really fun, and my goal will always be to help people, so if I ever feel like I need to post videos or that I'm doing more harm than good, then I would probably just quit. Alright, so those are my goals for medical school. Check back in 4 years to see how I do. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next Sunday. Until then, I surely hope that you'll take care of your health.